Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be going over the axe known as the Axe of Fechmar. Yes, exactly. The Axe of Fechmar isn't a particularly special axe. It does have one special feature, but it's not a particularly special axe. And as we go over it, I think you'll figure that out. So the Axe of Fechmar has a two-handed weapon damage of 11 to 24 at level 8. So it's relatively low level, and 11 to 24 is actually pretty high for this item at level 8. It does have a strength requirement of 35, which is relatively low, but at level 8 could be a little bit of a detriment depending on how you're building your character. It has an axe class normal speed of an axe class speed of normal, but in the hands of someone like a druid who does get a speed bonus for these particular items, it could actually be a little bit faster. Druids in particular get a nice little speed bonus for two-handed weapons. Basically, when you hold the weapon on an actual druid, you'll notice that it says it's faster. It does have a 90% enhanced damage, but it does vary from 70 to 90%. It has freezes target +3 on it, which is pretty massive. And early on in the game, this is going to shatter or freeze most targets relatively easily. In Hell difficulty and Nightmare difficulty, this effect is diminished due to the reason of was it 50% in Nightmare and 33% in Hell. So you know the duration of the freezes effect actually goes down quite a bit. This could potentially be paired up with something like an Ice Blink for an additional +1, which would make this +4, which is actually pretty sweet. I'm actually going to go demonstrate this in a little bit. It also has cold resistance 50% on it, which is pretty sweet. Early on in the game, this should protect you from most cold damage that you come across, and it also has +2 light radius. The ethereal version is 17 to 36 damage, and at level 8, you could probably utilize this for quite some time until you outlevel it. It is eventually going to break, though. It does have a very purple hue to the axe. Don't know why purple is the color that they chose, especially considering that this is a cold-based weapon, not a whatever. I'm going to take you out and I'm going to show you real quick the freezes target effect on this particular item. Let me grab Bash. Let's go somewhere where the monsters won't immediately die. And as you can see, one tap and they are frozen for quite some time, and then if you kill them with the effect, they shatter into pieces, which means you can't use their body. This weapon could be a very nice choice for a low-level barbarian or a druid, just specifically for the freezes target effect. Obviously, once the monster's frozen, they can't really fight you back. And in normal difficulty, the freezes target effect lasts for exactly how long it states, and any additional cold damage that you have from any other source will help that. So, for instance, if you use Eye of Elich that has cold damage, or cold damage charms, or just any cold damage you can get from any source, as well as, like I said, Ice Blink, you could pair it up with this, and you could increase the freezes target by quite a nice margin, to the point where everything that you're fighting will be frozen quite solid. The only things that do not freeze, of course, are champions, elites, and bosses. So all normal monsters will freeze with this particular effect. And the champions, elites, and bosses will still chill. They just won't freeze. Now, of course, we can upgrade this at least one tier with a Ral, a Soul, and a Perfect Emerald. And this is going to go from the 11 to 24 damage, 35 strength, level 8, to the 26 to 64 damage, 73 strength, level 27. Not a bad upgrade at all to tier 2 to the military axe. I feel like that is a pretty solid upgrade. The ethereal version, of course, also can be upgraded, and that would go from the 17 to 36 damage, 25 strength, level 8, to 39 to 96 damage, 63 strength, level 27. So, interesting option there for upgrading one tier. Definitely could be an interesting choice for a low-level Whirlwind Barbarian, perhaps, at level 30. Tag this along with Ice Blink, and you could literally just Whirlwind through everything and freeze everything in your path. That would be very fun. Tag on a lot of cold damage, and you could recreate the good old glory days of the Ice Blink Whirlwind Barbarian. We can upgrade this again one more time with a Pull Rune, a Lum Rune, and a Perfect Emerald. And this will get us into the Elite version. Now, I don't think this is going to be a good upgrade, but we're going to do it anyway just for science. 26 to 64 damage, 73 strength requirement, level 27. To the Feral Axe, 47 to 233, 196 strength requirement. That's really high, and level 54. Not really sure a lot of characters are going to be able to hit that 196 strength requirement at level 54, but I guess if you were, could be an interesting choice. The ethereal version also can be upgraded, 39 to 96 damage, 63 strength, and level 27, to 70 to 349, 186 requirement strength, and level 54. The problem with the ethereal version is you would have to put a Zod rune in it to utilize it, which means that it would bump the level up quite considerably. As you can see, it goes to level 81 as soon as the Zod rune is put in it, so a very high level increase. This weapon actually is kind of a fun little weapon to use, though. And like I said, it freezes everything in its path. That's kind of like the cool thing about it. Like, let me go ahead and throw Whirlwind on just for lulz. And let's go somewhere like... You know what? Let's just go to the River of Flame. And as you can see, just a lot of shattering going on. As the monsters are in the path, you know, they're just being shattered consistently. If you, like I said, if you paired this up with Ice Blink, you could increase the effect even further. But the problem is that when you get to Nightmare in Hell, this effect is diminished severely. So it's 50% of the duration in Nightmare, and it's 33% of the duration in Hell difficulty, to the point where literally most of the monsters would be rather unaffected by the freezes target effect. But as you can see in normal difficulty, which is what I'm in right now, it freezes and destroys monsters relatively easily and relatively quickly. I do feel like a normal difficulty or a Nightmare difficulty Whirlwind Barbarian could get pretty good use out of this axe, especially, like I said, in combination with the Ice Blink. Let's take a look and see where we could potentially find this item if we wanted to go and hunt for it. Let's go over to Silo's Pen, where I always like to go for looking up items, shall we? The Axe of Fechmar. I believe it's Fechmar, actually, but that sounds too much like a curse word. I like Fechmar better. So it looks like normal and Dariel has a really good chance of dropping this at 1 in 215. So you could get this literally before you leave normal difficulty if you put in a little bit of effort. That's actually pretty sweet. In fact, I'm not even going to go over the rest of the bosses because, in my opinion, since it's a low-level axe and since you're trying to find this for a low-level character, normal and Dariel is obviously the choice. Let's take a quick look at super uniques real quick. Normal Cow King has a really good chance at 1 in 170, but good luck finding that level 8. Pit Spawn Foul Dog and Jail level 2, 1 in 743. He's actually pretty easy to get to even before you get to Andariel. The Smith in the Barracks, 1 in 1,217, not bad. The Countess, also 1 in 3,006. Bone Ash, a lot of good options here for a normal difficulty Act 1 character to get your hands on this, you know, relatively quickly. Be a good choice to try and farm for a low-level barbarian or a low-level druid. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when we are talking about the Axe of Fechmar. And as always, keep watching.